Impact segment tonight. There's an organization called the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, run by a name named Mikey Weinstein, a Republican who worked in the Reagan administration. Mr. Weinstein wants to hold military officers responsible for perceived religious proselytizing. I got it, proselytizing. Writing in the Huffington Post, Weinstein says, quote, "We face incredibly well-funded gangs of fundamentalist Christian monsters who terrorize their fellow Americans by forcing their weaponized and twisted version of Christianity upon their helpless subordinates in our nation's armed forces. We must vigorously support the continuing efforts to expose pathologically anti-gay, Islamophobic, and rabidly intolerant agitators for what they are, die-hard enemies of the United States Constitution," unquote. Joining us now from Albuquerque, New Mexico, is Mr. Weinstein. All right, I want to get very specific here. Do you believe that an officer in the military who opposes openly gay individuals serving, is that officer homophobic?
Well, you know, I think having any particular viewpoint at all, Bill, is perfectly fine. There's a difference between what you personally feel inside and then the behavior that you exhibit. If you are showing any sort of derision or any sort of oppression or tyranny on a member who's openly gay in the military, well, then you are clearly in violation of the Constitution as well as regulations.
But you don't brand anyone for a sincerely held belief that it would be better for military order if gays just served as they used to in a don't ask, don't tell situation. You wouldn't say, even though you disagree with it, that officer would be homophobic automatically.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
all we care about is we're a hamburger, not a complex meal like Chateaubriand. It's your behavior and your attitude that matters. What you have inside belongs to you.
We assume that the military code of justice will take care of people who violate military law. Let's get on to the...
Not a good assumption, Bill. Not a good assumption.
No, so you think the military is corrupt in that regard, Mr. Weinstein?
I do. I think, and I've been doing this for 9 years, 2 months, and 28 days, and we represent over 33,000 members of the U.S. military. 96% of them Catholics, like you, and Roman Catholics and Protestants, who are victims of religious oppression. So this is something that we view as totally out of control, and this is why we've been fighting so long.
So you believe, you're flat out, and I know that you talked to some Pentagon officials, they sought you out for a discussion. You believe that the military, the American military, is corrupt, that it isn't enforcing protections against, let's say, overzealous proselytizing. You believe that is not happening now?
I completely agree with your statement. It is not happening, and
that's
you
not
go to
my
our
statement.
website at militaryreligiousfreedom.org.
That's your statement. Okay.
Yes.
Because I don't know.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, that's what you believe. All right, let's get the Islamophobic thing in here now. Would you say in the war on terror that militant Islam is our primary enemy?
I would say that absolutely. Salafi Wahhabist Islam, which is a small subsection of Islam itself. You know, not every Muslim, including fetuses inside a Muslim woman's womb, are terrorists, but our enemy is extremist fundamentalist Islam.
It's a jihadist.
Absolutely, no doubt.
All right. Okay,
yes,
so you concur with that. And so therefore that our military's efforts have to be directed in that arena, with a jihadist.
Bill, can I respond? I wanted to say something.
Go.
What I wanted to say is that we should be fighting as an American military our national interests, but we should not look like Christian crusaders to the people we're fighting. When we do that, that does three things. They all begin with E.
In the past,
yes.
All right, give me an example of how we look like Christian crusaders.
2.5 years ago, we broke the story of the so-called Jesus rifles. Every rifle that we had in the U.S. military had inscribed on its scope New Testament biblical citations. We had over 136 U.S. Marines that came to us saying it was horrible for them in Afghanistan.
What was the
dealing
inscription?
With it. They were from the book of John, I think Mark, and there was one from Revelation. It came from a defense contractor called Trigicon that had almost a $2 billion contract. I forget the exact citation, something about the light of the world, and but it was the fact that it was the actual citation. They didn't have room to put the entire words down.
Right, but I mean,
within just a matter of several days.
Mr. Weinstein, with all due respect, why would you have forgotten? I mean, if that seems to me a fairly
Bill. Let me try to respond here.
Right.
Obviously, the military grew this within a couple 3 days. They agreed that this was terribly wrong. It turned out that our NATO allies had these, even the Israeli Defense Forces.
So it was
they
one
forced a change
rifle
order on the
maker
contract. contractor to change it.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying you should be able to tell me what the offending passage was. All right, final question for you.
Bill,
Yeah.
you know, we have, let me put it this way, I can give you lots of different verses that are out there. The bottom line is that this was well covered in the media.
The real bottom line.
The military made the change.
The real bottom line
they
is the military took care of it. That's the real bottom line. Final question.
They did after we went and had to stand up and fight on behalf of our clients, they finally did. But without us, they would not have.
All right. Now, final question. The Obama administration, very secular administration. Are you still saying that the military is corrupt, or hasn't the Obama administration, after 5 years, wiped all this out?
This is not an indictment on any member of the of the White House. Obviously, whether it was George W. Bush or his predecessor or Obama, they're the commander in chief. We are seeing things that are better, clearly, under Obama. You say secular like it's a bad thing. From our perspective, it means it's a level playing field.
It was just a statement, Mr. Weinstein. You got to be a little. Come on. I said it's a secular administration.
Yes, I would say that